Whenever you're ready, man.
What's up? Yeah, I'm beat up on this rainy Sunday.
Man,
afternoon.
that was like the lousiest opening. You just felt like
just blah.
blah. What's up, man?
What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Welcome to SMASHCUT.
Welcome to SMASHCUT. I'm Travis Hobson of PunchDrunkCritics.com.
John Nolan.
John Nolan of PunchDrunkCritics.com.
of
and
that.
another radio station too that I always forget the name of.
What is it? No, I'm just kidding. 98.3 Star FM.
Welcome to the show. This week we're talking Knives Out, which
Yes.
I think is one of the most anticipated movies of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm safe to say we're
Johnson.
both pretty big Ryan Johnson. You actually got me into Ryan Johnson with Brick, and I'm sure we'll talk about that during the review. But
Oh yeah, 'cause he's going back to the mystery genre.
yeah.
Brick was his first film. That was his big breakout film with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Really kind of put him back on the map too. But Knives Out is something totally different. I mean, it's a mystery, but star-studded cast. Looks like it's going to be his biggest non-Star Wars hit too, based off this opening weekend. So,
What was the box office?
42 million for Knives Out
No kidding.
over
I mean,
5 days, but still pretty good.
Yeah, but that's still. I'm always.
Looper was his biggest non-Star Wars before this. Is 66 million domestic.
Right.
Made like 170 million worldwide.
Right.
So this has already got 70 million worldwide on its own first weekend. So
I guess I'm sleeping on mystery movies because I like Looper. I can see everybody coming out in droves for. It got a
film
lot of
noir
PR.
is my
but-
favorite genre. So
Oh yeah, I mean, there's nothing better. If you can go back and capture that 40s, 50s, Humphrey Bogart, the dame walked in and then she had a look of deviousness on her face type deal. And he does that really, really, yeah. I'm going to warm up here, folks. It's going to take me a little while to get into something that makes sense. Yeah, I was talking about, you know what, honestly, what I was thinking about was the movie from Home Alone, Angels with Dirty Wings, which isn't a real movie, by the way, folks.
Jesus. Yeah. How's your week been so far?
It's been good,
Kind
man.
of a dark and gloomy day today.
Dark and gloomy day.
Out here in
yeah.
Virginia.
It's unfortunately I have a day job and that sucked, but it's a wonderful time of year for us because we get it's like Christmas before Christmas. We come home every day and there's a UPS or FedEx
That
package.
shit is not Christmas after a while, man. That shit is hell after a while.
Yeah, it's almost like when you ask a genie for something and
it's
they
award
turn it on
season,
you.
folks. And for film critics, most film critics, not all film critics, this is award season, which means it's also screener season, which means you get inundated with screeners and other items
Yeah.
designed to convince you to vote for certain movies.
Yeah, they've stepped up the other items category this year.
When you're a member of multiple organizations, you get triple, sometimes quadruple the stuff, which is what I get.
I get one.
And it's annoying. You get a lot of shit, and I'm just like flooded. Friday, I got 10 packages, and that's not an exaggeration, and it sucked. I know just like bullshit sucks, right? It's like
these are
to
first
you,
world
you're like-
problems.
You're
but
like, yeah, fuck you, dude. You get like all these movies that everybody else has to pay to see. And you just send them to you for free.
Yeah.
But for me, who's already seen most of them, it's like,
Right.
yeah, okay, I got it.
I was just saying,
Although it was pretty great to watch 1917 again at home last night.
I didn't know you had that. You got. I didn't get that screener yet. I would have told you to not bring it to me because you can't share those screeners. But
Oh no,
you know what I'm saying.
no. Can't share those. Yeah. I don't. I try not to be the guy who's like, yeah, I got this screener, man, and nobody else got it.
Yeah.
I used to be that guy. I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I used to love going on our special WAFCA secret board, which is the Washington D.C. Film Critics Association's board, and posting about shit I had that I knew nobody else had. I used to like doing that. Now I don't care. I don't care as much. I've matured.
Yeah. There you go. The
I've
luster's
matured.
worn off.
I no longer feel the need to rub people's noses in the
Right.
fact that I have stuff they don't get.
I still do
don't
have
do
that need, actually.
I don't want to do it anymore.
but
But it was great to watch 1917 again last night, and it is phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing I love about that is World War I just gets very little cinematic love.
Strangely enough, you're right.
It really doesn't. I mean, World War II is
Always
very
World War II.
cinematic. I mean, you got the Nazis, you got the typical bad guys.
When
you got,
World War III comes, man, that's going to get some serious play.
yeah, it is. I mean, I think it'll be on every TV.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see who directs that movie.
But
Hopefully we won't be alive around that time.
no,
I hope.
Well, this close to DC, we'll probably won't see it. We'll be there for the opening shot, and that's it.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Which I'm
It'll
okay
be
with.
like the Terminator playground scene. That's where
Yeah,
we were.
that's
That's
it.
where we were.
We'll be the two skeletons
World War
holding onto the
III.
fence right there. But, people always say, like in horror movies and in war movies, the first people that get knocked off, they're always like, oh, man, it sucks to be them. I don't think so because they don't have to go through all the terror. So, the first person that Jason kills doesn't know Jason's there. They're just gone.
I guess that's one way of looking at it. If there's a
silver
bright
lining
side,
to every cloud.
I suppose that's one way.
Right.
It's
But
creepy way of looking
it's
at
really
it.
this time of year is really like when if you like Wishmaster, one of those movies where you ask a genie for something, they
Jesus
kind of
Christ.
twist. I know, weird, but they twist it around like I wish I could have movies sent to my house that were still in theaters, and then all of a sudden
It
you
looks
have
like Wishmaster, the new Fantasy Island.
it kind of
The
does.
new Fantasy Island looks like Wishmaster.
I should have known something weird was going to go on when I knew Blumhouse was there.
Yeah,
but
of course.
It's a lot darker than I thought.
Yeah, Fantasy
Yeah.
Island is a dark series. Now, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, there's dark aspects to that show if you ever watch it, especially as it gets later on into the latter seasons. It gets darker.
Yeah, it's like Twilight Zone-y
It's more of a be
yeah.
careful what you wish for sort of thing
Right.
after a while. And I don't think that's as overt early on. But later on, it's like, yeah, this is what we're doing here.
Yeah, it starts out as Love Boat and gets into Twilight Zone or Outer Limits, kind of like that kind of feeling.
Which I always thought was cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, with Blumhouse doing the remake, I mean, obviously you knew where it was going.
Yeah, and Lucy Hale's in it, so that's always a plus.
And Michael Pena.
Michael Pena's obviously,
Do we know who's playing Tattoo? Is there a tattoo in this movie?
honestly, I thought
I don't
think
think
there
there
is because I
think is unfortunate.
is it unfortunate or are we living in a time where because I mean let's be honest, Tattoo was just a little person that was exploited for being a little person and being funny, right?
Look, I'm not going to say anything about her village noise, whatever
Yeah.
her name was. I can't pronounce it.
My night with Hervé. If anybody ever hasn't seen that, you need to check
Peter
it out.
Dinklage, great in that movie, by the
Oh
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it that's coming out, and we get just go back a second. So these they really step it up. Like you get all these movies, and you wonder if you guys ever haven't heard about why a movie will make $200 million and not make its money back or still be a flop. So we're sitting at our respective houses, and these packages are coming in, and I get a package for like Marriage Story or The Irishman,
Which I hope you've watched.
It's on my slate for tonight. I have it out.
I'm just going to say that you should probably run past me which movies you absolutely need to watch.
Yeah, I think I'm getting to the point where I need to. I'm taking 2 days off this week.
You should probably ask me which movies you should definitely watch.
Yeah, I'll send you a list.
I'm going to tell you Marriage Stories at the top of your list.
Well, and that's why I had it in my queue because I remember you saying how good it was.
Incredible.
And it's honestly it's not one of the ones I usually put to the front because it doesn't scream amazing movie. But when you look at the cast and
Really?
you look at the content,
Really?
well, yeah, I mean,
Adam Driver, Scarlett Johansson,
I just said when you look at the cast, which
Laura Dern,
I did rewatch Jojo
Noah
Rabbit.
Baumbach.
Yeah, well, I know. I see. Look at the cast, and it looks like award-winning. Okay, I'm wrong, but speaking of
That's what I was
Scarlett
just trying to get
Johansson,
you
I watched Jojo Rabbit again, and we talked a couple weeks ago about this about the turn, and it's not very often that a movie will get me more the second time. I mean the not twist really, but the
it's not a
turn of
twist.
tone in
It's
that
just-
movie,
Yeah.
the left turn it makes on tone, it hit me so much harder the second time. I don't know why. Just forever the image of those.
Don't
40s.
say it. Don't say it.
I'm not. No. It'll be.
Don't say it.
The image of 40s era shoes will always be something that turns my mood from now on.
Okay.
Um,
I hear you.
but yeah, so there's a lot of great stuff out. The marketing piece, people they spend literally 100% of the movie's budget now on P&R, which marketing and all this stuff. And you're like, how can they spend that much in the age of the internet? Well, like for The Irishman, we got a box this big, folks, that had a huge coffee table book that must be $50 to produce alone. I mean, high gloss pages, like something that's really nice, and it's got a little Jimmy Hoffa button in it. And they sent that to me. I'm on some small radio station somewhere, and I write for a blog sometimes. So I am a member of a critics association, so that's how I get on that list. But if they're sending that to me, that means how many critics and how many places
I remember
are getting
that
that.
toggle button we have there for coughing. But then it gotta pick you up
We're
too.
not that professional. Yeah, we got it. We can
I know.
definitely.
Whatever.
I don't know if I muted myself or not.
Nobody can hear you anymore.
Well, that's probably nope. I
done.
see levels.
Damn it.
So it's crazy the money and the thought they put into this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's so much more, and that actually leads. I know we talk about the movies, but that's a good segue into something I think you and I talked about. I'm not sure if it was on air, but that Toys That Made Us series that's on Netflix.
Yeah, you've talked about it a lot. I've yet to really watch it.
Oh, it's so
You talked about it at the end of the last show. I think we did.
yeah, it's so good and interesting. And then my brother, who knows I love it, texted me last night and says, they have the Movies That Made Us series. So they came out with season 1 of that, which is Die Hard, Home Alone, Ghostbusters, and Dirty Dancing. And they take these deep looks at the background of these
I don't wanna
movies.
watch any of those movies.
You don't want to watch any of those? Not Ghostbusters or
I don't
Ghostbusters is really interesting. Like I didn't know John Candy was supposed to be Louis Tully at first.
But I'd heard that before, but I hadn't really thought much about it.
Yeah,
I don't mind Ghostbusters, of course. I don't mind Die Hard. I don't want to hear anything about Dirty Dancing.
No, I haven't watched Dirty Dancing. I probably won't. I mean, but I will be honest. The way they put it together.
Have you ever watched Dirty Dancing?
Not since I was 12.
Without like a female there who really wanted to watch Dirty Dancing.
No.
Me
no.
Okay.
And that's not even a macho thing.
That's never going to happen either.
There are some things that appeal more to men than women.
Have you ever watched Dirty Dancing Havana Nights?
I think I did because of not by myself, but
yeah.
Who was in that? Who was in? No, there was
Wasn't
some.
that Brittany Snow? No.
If it was Brittany Snow, John Tucker Must Die era, I'm all in.
Who the hell was in that? The guy was somebody I think we were familiar with.
I think he's like Diego Luna or
something like that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. But I don't know who the girl was. Now I'm dying to figure it out now.
Yeah, and we're about to get to John's misogynistic moment of the week.
Oh God,
where we talk about female actors based solely on their
Dancing
looks.
Havana Nights. It is.
Yeah. Who is it?
It is. What is that? Oh, Romola Garai is the girl. Okay.
What?
No
Oh, that's not who I was thinking of then.
And Diego Luna.
Yeah, it was Diego Luna. Okay.
Diego Luna.
So Cassian Andor.
And Patrick Swayze did show up in that. Yeah.
He did
as a dance instructor.
Well, I guess that's appropriate.
So I think he was playing the same guy.
Yeah. Whose name? I know his name wasn't Baby. That was the girl.
Yeah.
Johnny. His name was Johnny because everybody in the movies in the 80s was named Johnny. Which is probably why I don't go by that. I just go by John. But
yes, I'm sure that's the reason.
Yeah. So anyway, the movies that made us. If you have Netflix and who doesn't, check it out. It's just so interesting. They're you can watch documentaries and the information they can have can be complete and total, and they can teach you things you don't know about. But how it's presented is not always good or interesting. And some of the humor they try to put in is corny, so it kind of goes down my road there. But the way they present a lot of this stuff is just so completely interesting. And I think we're segueing to Knives Out now. So yeah, I kind of went off.
But I was messing with you, but I accidentally pressed the button.
No, no worries. So check that out. It's really cool. Speaking of things that are really cool, we opened the show talking about Rian Johnson and Knives Out.
Did.
Now remind me, where were you on The Last Jedi? Were you on the pro
I am
or
on
con?
the wildly positive side. It is still my second favorite Star Wars movie of all time.
Okay. Yeah,
behind Empire Strikes Back.
I've come around to it. I think
I like it more because of the people who hate it.
Yeah, I can see you doing that.
Yeah. I liked it a lot anyway. I thought it was amazing because it went in directions that I didn't expect it to, and that's why I wanted. I didn't realize how badly I wanted that until they gave it to me.
Right.
I really needed Star Wars to do something different, and it did. And the people who are so against that just made me like it even more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then that's the thing. That's why it's divisive, is that when it comes to things like Star Wars, these franchises that people really have as part of their identities, everybody says they want something new, but the reality is half the people want a traditional take and they want it to continue. They want to revisit the feeling they had when they first watched the original. The other half want to see it go off in a different direction.
Yeah.
And that's Rian Johnson took a lot of heat, and I give him credit, even though it's not my favorite. In time, I've started to like it more and more. But watching Knives Out, going back and watching Brick, we should have all known to expect Rian Johnson to bring us to somewhere that we didn't expect to be.
Look, Knives Out is like his palate cleanser, right? I mean, all the heat he took for The Last Jedi for trying something new, he gets to kind of have fun with a movie like Knives Out, in which there are probably no expectations other than to have a lot of fun.
Right.
And he makes a movie that is a lot of fun, and he even gets to poke fun at those people because one of those characters is clearly somebody who echoes the voice of a lot of those people, played by Jaden Martell in the movie.
Yeah.
And I think he's clearly taking shots at them without directly taking shots at them, and I think that's great. I think he should do that. But I saw this at Middleburg, and I all I wanted to do was go in there and have a good time with it. I think the mystery itself, and for those who don't know, it's about a wealthy mystery author who was found murdered on his birthday, and he's got a house full of suspects, and pretty much all his family. Yeah,
it's the typical mansion murder mystery type setup.
It's very much like a Clue. It's like a very Clue-esque. And the mystery is not that deep, I don't think. I think he tries to throw some twists and turns in there that I don't think are 100% successful.
Right.
But it's mainly about having fun with this cast, and the cast is tremendous. Michael Shannon, Chris Evans playing against type.
Yeah.
Christopher Plummer, Daniel Craig, who I think Daniel Craig, if he's got a Southern accent, the movie's a win.
Yeah.
Right? Anytime he's got a Southern accent, it's a win. Like Logan Lucky.
Yeah.
Anytime he's got a Southern accent, chalk it up.
One of the most underrated movies of that was 2018, right? Logan Lucky.
I think so.
Yeah,
May have been. Or 2017.
That's one that a lot of people probably missed, but you can check that out as well.
Oh, Logan Lucky's fantastic. He's great in that too.
Do you think Chris Evans is playing against type, or just playing against type since 2010?
He's playing against
since
type.
2012?
He's playing old type Chris Evans.
Yeah, he's like a return to form.
This is like losers, Human Torch, Chris Evans.
Yeah,
kind of a jerk.
Yeah, people forget that he started out in Not Another Teen Movie, which is just a classic of the spoof genre.
Yeah,
I think it was good. It was very of its time, but that picture that's on screen now, that's the Chris Evans that was there before Captain America came out. Like sarcastic, smart-assy, fun type guy, and to see him come back. I mean, return to form is a good description of a lot of the things in this movie.
Evans.
Oh, he was so much fun, man. And he's good. He's very funny.
He was a good Human Torch too.
He was. I mean, Johnny
I
Storm
know
was a dick.
It's become, kosher to just shit on the old Fantastic Four movies.
Right.
I actually don't think they're that terrible.
The first one especially not.
I just don't think the second one's that bad either. It was certainly the best Silver Surfer we've seen.
It was the only one, right?
Yes, it is. But no, the Silver Surfer was actually really cool in the second one.
Yeah.
But those movies aren't atrocious. They just don't look as good as like Marvel movies from 2008 on. They just don't compare.
Well, they were right at the change of the guard of comic book movies.
It's
so.
It's a tough period. The X-Men have been out for a few years. It's kind of right in between. Because I think the first one was 2004 maybe?
First X-Men?
First Fantastic Four.
Oh, yeah, 2004, yeah.
So it's a rough period of time. But Chris Evans was one of the best parts of those movies. I think he was a great Fantastic Human Torch. And he would still be a great Human Torch if they were to do another one, which they can't do.
Yeah.
He couldn't be in it because they'd be in the Marvel Cinematic
honestly,
Universe.
I liked most parts. I struggled when I look back. I mean, even Jessica Alba as Sue Storm wasn't bad. I struggle when I look back to think about what. Yeah, it wasn't great. She was
not great as she's not one of the strong points.
No, yeah. I mean, but I struggle to think of what the bad things were when I look back. Like obviously, Galactus is a big cloud.
Special effects weren't great. They weren't great. The stories were sort of cheesy.
Okay.
I think those are the main things. Doom wasn't very good.
You didn't like Julian?
There's never been a good Doom on big screen live action yet. There's not been one.
So then, are you excited about now? I know we don't usually talk about leaks and rumors, but are you excited about these 4chan rumors? I'm
not excited about anything that comes out of 4chan. What the hell are you talking about?
I know, but I mean, it's something. And we were completely off Knives Out, but
Jesus Christ,
the
4chan.
But it's a good. I think that's where they originated.
Just tell me Reddit. Tell me Reddit.
Okay, Reddit. Reddit and Cinema Blend came out and said that Dr. Doom will make his appearance in Black Panther 2.
I posted that rumor.
Yeah, I mean,
I posted that rumor and said it was very much a rumor because it is.
It is, but it's a smart idea. I mean,
I don't think so.
My only problem with that is that at this point, would we really have not heard of Latveria? Or Latvia. Is it Latvia or Latveria? I know one of them's a real place. Latveria. So, we've been across the whole globe in the Marvel universe.
I think it is a bad idea to introduce Doom anywhere other than with the Fantastic Four. Now, if the Fantastic Four are in Black Panther 2, okay. Mm-hmm. But if they're not, then no, you don't do it.
And if they are, that's way too much in one movie. Unless they did it in Civil War.
I don't want to see Dr. Doom.
Right.
I want to see if Dr. Doom's going to show up, I want him to maybe start off small, yes, in a Fantastic Four series or in a movie.
Right.
And then grow to become like the major threat for that phase.
Right.
The way Thanos grew from a guy making a cameo to the big
he was dribbled in a little bit more every time. Yeah.
But I do not want him showing up in Black Panther 2 as his first appearance. Because his first appearance has to be a loss. He's going to lose in Black Panther 2 if he goes up against the Wakandans.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to have the Wakandans lose.
And then you lose your threat if he's already lost.
Don't do that. Yeah. Just don't do that. Have him show up later. Don't do that.
Maybe not for a villain, but I do think the way they handled the Black Panther introduction is something.
And worse, he's losing to someone who's not his chief rival.
Right. And which, isn't always the biggest problem, but in this case, I mean, they're so intrinsically linked. It's like bringing Lex Luthor in a Batman movie. And not in a Superman movie, but
don't do it. It's usually a bad idea.
I do think that they should.
Very rarely works out.
The Black Panther introduction in another movie and putting him in as the fourth or fifth build and keeping him on a subplot, I think it was a great way to introduce people. But I don't even know how we got. Oh, that's how we got here from Knives Out. Chris Evans.
We started talking about Chris Evans. And fell down a rabbit hole.
So I mean, I agree completely with what you said. The mystery was why you'd expect it to be the top line of the movie. It's not, but that's just because it's there to allow us the jokes and the fun and the story that's built around it and these characters that are brought up. I mean, Christopher Plummer, Chris Evans.
I think people are going to walk away surprised at who, like this. It presents itself as an ensemble, but there are maybe two actors who step out of this as like the focal points. One is Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc, this sort of ridiculous gumshoe detective.
Yeah.
And Ana de Armas as the help, I guess, basically the nurse. I think people are going to be surprised that she's really the one who emerges out of this group. Because when you look at it, you don't really think so. She's probably going to be shuffled off to be like a supporting character, but she's not. She's really almost a centerpiece in this whole story. And I think I'm glad for that, because one, that took me by surprise. Yeah, I expected the focal points to be Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, the ones you expect.
Even Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis, yeah, but it's not. It's her. And I think that provides a unique perspective, because almost everybody in the cast are very well off, very selfish. Her character is someone who's, not in the same sort of situation they're in.
Right. The one most of us can relate to. Yeah.
It provides an unexpected focal point, which I think is one of the reasons why the movie is successful.
And she's been percolating on the edge of fame for years now, almost. I mean, Blade Runner 2049, she kind of broke out.
War Dogs.
War Dogs. I mean, she's a gorgeous woman, but she's also a really good actress too.
I'm glad you stuck that in there.
Yeah,
I think a couple weeks ago you wouldn't have stuck that in there. You just was that.
I'm growing as a person.
I think you are, man. I like that.
Well, because it's implied. Usually it's in my mind, in this weird place I call a brain. It's implied that that they're a good actress, but you guys don't know that. So I'm trying to get better. But
I wonder if that worked.
Hold on.
It probably was still here. It probably was still here on your side though.
No, I don't know. Yeah, our mics are pretty close.
Doesn't really matter.
But yeah, she's been kind of. I don't know that this will be her breakout role, because even though she is the focal point,
she's kind of already had it. I think like between this and Blade Runner, you think this will put past the point.
Because to rise to the top amongst the people that she's with in this movie is a huge feat. But there is so much else there. Chris Evans does get a lot of good.
She needs like her own like a solo film that's all hers?
No, but just maybe something without every movie star of the last 25 years in it.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll have one of those too. She has something else that came out this year too, and I can't think what it is.
She was in that Keanu Reeves movie, wasn't she? About the two girls that it was
Knock?
Like Knock Knock. There it is. I don't even think that was theatrically
I never did see that. No, it was. I just never did see it.
Yeah.
No, I think she's past the point where I think she's at the point now where she's a star that people are going to begin recognizing.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if she's ever going to have that role where she gets to stand out, unless it's in sort of a biopic or something like that.
Right.
Which maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I feel like she has either something that's been out or is about to come out.
She's been in a lot of stuff.
Where she's going to play somebody well known, and I can't think what it is, and I'm going to go look it up, because that's what we do.
I'm so interested in how
that's
you look.
Right.
The differences.
She's playing Marilyn Monroe in Blonde. That's what it was.
Oh yeah. And she's
Andrew Dominic.
She's wouldn't be your first choice, but when you think about it, she's really got the look.
I mean, she's Cuban, so it's interesting.
Yeah, but she's got the look. I mean,
no, she absolutely has the look. I
mean, yeah. She's and we forget a lot. Everybody's thinking, Marilyn Monroe, the all-American blonde-haired girl.
Pick for that role,
right? Which is good. That shows that they're actually thinking about
that
stuff.
Movie. Andrew Dominic's been trying to make that movie for like a decade. I mean,
hopefully it's finally a definitive version of it, because what was it, like 2015? We had like 3 movies. We had Michelle Williams, My Day with Marilyn, and like 2 other movies. Yeah, My Week with Marilyn, and a couple other ones too.
Yeah, we did a few of them.
But here's a question for you. Like Ryan, obviously Ryan Johnson is an excellent filmmaker who can do pretty much anything.
He still got the movie that I've seen more times in the theater than any other movie in my entire life.
What was that?
The Brothers Bloom.
Oh yeah.
I paid to see that 5 times in the movie.
Did you really?
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
I cannot get enough of that movie.
Rachel
I
Weisz
haven't watched
in
it
that
in a while now, and I need to catch up with it now. I was telling somebody else about it, and they had never even heard of it. And I was like, you got to go see The Brothers Bloom. Like I said, I paid for it 5 times. I love that movie so much.
The way he writes and the way he directs his own writing is just it's interesting is the only word I can think of. Like, you can't keep your eyes off it, and it's almost the kind of like machine gun type dialogue that a Guy Ritchie movie would have, but it seems more intelligent.
Brick's dialogue was very catchy and of the moment. I think he kind of settled down on that, like with like the Brothers Bloom, and then for Looper.
But they had a lot in Brothers Bloom. There was a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, but it's also a very fantastical film though too. So it's a little bit different.
Which surprised me when I first saw it. I thought it would be more of a standard, kind of mystery. But that movie is really good, and actually that kind of brings up to the question. So obviously,
two of my favorite women in that movie: Rachel Weisz and Rinko Kikuchi.
Yeah, I was trying to think of her name, Rinko Kikuchi. But obviously, filmmakers should be able to make whatever they want to. But if you're really, really good at something, and he's really, really good at this noirish type, gumshoeish type stuff, is it a negative to just stay in your lane and make the movies you're best at, or are you expected to make other stuff too?
The one thing he's proven so far is that he's been good at pretty much everything he's done.
Yeah,
and he's not settled down into one particular genre. Brick is a film noir, but who done it? I mean, Knives Out isn't a noir. It's just a mystery.
Yeah, mystery is like kind of overarching.
It's not film noir. Star Wars obviously is blockbuster scale. Very effective at that. Brothers Bloom is a fantastical heist movie. Very much, they've done nothing else like that. In fact, nobody's done a movie like that in a very long time that I can think of. No. And then Looper is a sci-fi time travel assassin movie. Yeah. So I mean, he's done pretty much everything. The only thing he hasn't done is like a straight rom-com or a straight drama.
Which there's no need to do. I don't think anybody feels the need to stretch their legs to that.
I think one day he'll get around to those, but they'll be done in a way that's unexpected. Yeah. Like pretty much every movie he's done has had something unexpected about it. Right. He's not just settled into like a genre, then that's been it.
He's not doing what people are telling him to do. He's doing what he thinks is right.
Yeah.
And that's
which I think is great.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So Knives Out obviously is a go from both of us.
Absolutely. Did you see anything else this week? Did you see Dark Waters?
I didn't see Dark Waters.
You didn't go see Queen and Slim because it's two black people in it.
Caught me.
You said Black Bonnie and Clyde. What do I want to see that for?
I thought we had talked about it last week, and
we weren't here last week.
Or the week before. But I guess we just talked about the movie itself, but not a review. But I've got 4 movies.
Yeah, we're not going to do a full review now either since you didn't see it.
I've got 4 movies that are on top of my Blu-ray player right now to watch. That's Queen and Slim, Marriage Story, Motherless Brooklyn I wanted to watch again, and what the fuck was the other one? Then there's another one. I don't remember. But those are the 3 that
what are some things that you don't think you're going to get around to that are
most of the Magnolia movies, most of the Neon Pact that came through. Parasite, I haven't. Have you seen Parasite yet? What?
You haven't seen Parasite?
I haven't seen Parasite. That's on my
John.
list too.
Put that.
I didn't get to Middleburg.
Put that underneath Marriage Story. Like those 2, you need to see
for best of the year type stuff.
Yes,
that's Parasite, what I'm hearing.
Parasite has a chance to do almost that entire Neon Pack. You should be watching, if I'm honest.
Really?
Yeah, the Neon Pack is insane.
I guess I need to
that's why I tweeted out to them. I was like, "You guys had the best year of any studio this year. It's Neon is incredible. Their screener pack is insane. It's so good."
When did they start? I mean, because if what you're saying is true, to have a whole and we're talking like 8 movies in the screener pack. Last year they had a couple good ones, Assassination Nation, and I don't remember what else was.
I feel like I was the only one who's championing that movie.
Oh, I loved Assassination Nation.
Yeah.
I didn't like saying the title, but because I got a bit of a stutter, but yeah, I mean to have that many good movies in one year for a studio that I don't think has been around for 4 years. I mean, it can't be, right?
No, they haven't been around that long. I'm trying to see what else they had this year that was really good.
You know, Parasite we're watching tonight because I read an article about it. I was so surprised to see it. And
the thing about Parasite is it has a chance to do what Roma did last year, which is be nominated in both Best Foreign Film and Best Picture category. See, so I feel like it's one of those essential movies you have to watch.
Okay, because the feel I got from everything I read about it
was going to be up there for me too. So
the feel I got is that it was a really good, surprisingly good movie with a great twist. But I almost got a feeling like it was like people were talking about it almost like it was Us, better than Us, Jordan Peele's Us, but not like best movie of the year type stuff. So then that's going to obviously have to go up my queue.
No, yeah, you need to.
Yeah.
You need to check it out. I'm trying to look at what else they had this year that I think you need to be watching. Oh, yeah, shit. Wild Rose, Honeyland, Loose. Did you watch Loose?
No.
John,
Honey Boy.
You're
I got
a
Honey
film
Boy
critic,
too.
right? You review movies. For
No, wait.
You're a film
I do
critic,
have
right?
that one. I didn't know it was loose.
I know you
thought
have.
It was
I know you have it.
I thought it was Lucci. I didn't know it was loose, but he said loose.
It's
I forgot.
loose.
LUCE, right?
Monos, Little Monsters, Parasite. Jesus Christ, dude. Little Woods.
Little Monsters I saw. Little Woods I didn't have on my list.
Little Woods. It's Tessa Thompson and the girl from Cinderella. Lily James.
Yeah.
Lily James.
So I was confused by that because they're sisters.
Yeah.
Are they like adopted sisters?
There's a little more to it than that. But yeah.
Okay, because it just said sisters in the synopsis.
Dude, these are the movies that they had this year that you need to watch. So you're just going to take a couple days off. Apollo 11, the best documentary. You have to watch it.
Yeah.
The Beach Bum you could probably avoid. It's not
that one I had on my
Even though it's Harmony Korine, I mean, still. Little Woods, The Biggest Little Farm, Wild Rose, Honeyland, Loose, Monos, Little Monsters. You don't need. It's probably just watch for fun.
Yeah.
That's not an Oscar movie. And Parasite. Those are like.
What about Honey Boy?
Movies,
it's not on that list, but Honey Boy is one of the ones that's near the top of my list too.
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf movie. I just think every trailer I've seen,
it's a really good film.
Brave always seems like such a cliche to say, but I mean, the dude is not.
It's not Brave.
So you've watched it already?
I watched it. I saw it at Sundance back in January.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah.
No, it's not. I don't know if I'd call it brave. It is a good film with his perspective on his childhood.
Okay, because it seemed like he's bringing up warts and all, everything that happened to his dad and all that.
I still wouldn't call it brave.
No, but it's not.
I feel like the story that he's telling is very cliche.
That goes down the list then.
It's very cliche.
Okay.
It's worth watching for sure. Do you need to watch it for our awards necessarily? Mm-hmm. Probably not.
Yeah. Sounds like I got to take Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
It's definitely something to watch, though. Yeah.
Yeah. See, my idea was to take off, and as I do this every year, I need to just take off the week in January and say I'm off from November 20, the last week in November, whatever it is. And every year I wait and I wait. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I'll take a couple days off. I'll take 3 days off. Well, 2.
Did you watch Her Smell?
No. Dude, I've got a week. I've got every night this week.
Watch that too. You should watch it for Elizabeth Moss because she might be a Best Actress contender.
Really? Man, let me get my notepad out here. I mean, I got all these things.
Pretty rough, man.
I tell you what, when I get home,
it's a rough life we lead. But if you watch these movies all year round, you wouldn't have this problem.
Well, I can't make it to Sundance or Middleburg.
Where have you been?
I see the ones that make a lot of money.
See, that's not you can't.
I'm a shallow film critic.
You can't McCarthy these things, man. You got to actually go and see other stuff too.
I do from time to time, but that was always, I made a conscious decision to not do that as much because when we first started doing this, some 10 years ago, I was making every effort to get every single movie. And we were at screenings, and you still are really, but 4 nights a week.
It sucks.
Sometimes 2 movies a day. And after like 6 to 8 months of doing that, I started feeling like I really understood why people get the impression that film critics don't like anything. And nothing's less true than that. But when you watch everything, it's like the stuff that regular viewers will watch. Like you've seen so much, you have to hold it to a higher standard.
You need to see everything for context. That's the problem. See, you can limit yourself to only watching the major films, but then you're kind of stuck in that mode where the only thing you've seen are blockbusters and major studios films, where trying new things isn't always necessarily the goal.
It's just entertainment.
You got to see other things. You got to go out and see a movie like Little Woods. Or go see a foreign film like Monos or Parasite, something that's supposed to catch you off guard. That's supposed to broaden your horizons. It's not our job to just tell people about movies they already know about. It's our job. At least I see it as our job. Yeah, to tell people about movies they don't know about.
For sure.
And tell them why this might be in their best interest to see. Give them something about it that's worth seeing.
And don't get me wrong, I've seen plenty of stuff this year that's not on the blockbuster.
I don't take this job that seriously at all. Like I really don't.
Right.
But I do feel like if we do have something that we should be doing, it is letting people know about films that aren't always on their radar.
Well, it goes back to the marketing thing for the movies that can't spend twice their budget. It's up to us and whoever else to if they're worth seeing to put out there. And I get that for sure. And don't get me wrong, I've seen plenty of stuff that wasn't on the top 10 list of any opening weekend. But
which one was the last one?
Man, you know damn well. You're just
as
bad as me.
You shouldn't have said anything.
You're just as bad as me. Okay, your top 5 favorite movies ever, go.
Okay, Empire Strikes Back.
No, you always tell me you can't pick those. Or no, What,
if you're gonna
what
make
should I
me,
see
you're gonna make
today?
me pick them right now. I can pick you, but will it change tomorrow? Sure.
Yeah. So I'm never good with lists. Like the worst thing I hate
I didn't
ever.
I didn't ask you for a list. I said name the last one.
Well, this is name. Whatever, man. Where's my mute?
You
Where's your
should
mute button?
don't give don't say stuff like that. I'm gonna.
Well,
ask
you know what I mean. I'm not good at rattling off lists at the last second. But what's up, Bulldog? 1992. How you
That
doing?
was very funny. Okay, go ahead, man. You were saying something, and I interrupted you.
Yeah, I don't remember now.
Right,
I just feel like less of a film critic, and I'm going to leave. And I'm
You
cry
shouldn't
now.
feel like less of a film critic. I'm not trying to
I'm just
step on
messing
you
with
as a
you,
film
man.
critic. Yeah, I'm not trying to do that.
I'm just
But
messing
I
with
do
you.
feel like it's important for us to see more than just what's put out there first. In commercials, it gets all the promotion.
Oh, for sure,
And look, you talked about how we used to go to movies all the time, like every single screening. I used to see 300 movies a year. I mean, I have the numbers to show it.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did that.
Right, and I this year I cut it down to I'm at 160 right now for this year. I cut it down like in half,
Right.
because it was just too much. But I still make it a point to see as much as I possibly can, even the stuff that I'm not necessarily going to review. I'm going to let somebody else review.
Right.
I still want to go see it because I need the context, man. I want to see everything. I want to see stuff that challenges me. I want to see stuff that I'm not expected to like.
Right.
I want to see stuff that I go in thinking this is probably going to be terrible. I want to be surprised.
Well, that's the best feeling about watching
see
movies.
stuff I've
It's
never
not,
heard of.
It's not just, I'll never forget seeing Spider-Man 1. And bear in mind, I was 19 or 20 years old, maybe 21 when that movie came out, and I felt like a kid walking out of the movie theater. Like I wanted to swing from buildings with my web shooters. But that's a great part of movie going. But there's nothing better than going into a movie you have little to no expectations for, or bad expectations, negative expectations for,
It's interesting.
and being turned around.
It's interesting. We may have talked about this 2 weeks ago, but I was talking about how I wanted to do my top 100 of the decade.
I was just about to ask you about it.
And I haven't started yet. And I was like, I'm going to wait until December 1st.
Right.
And that was December 1st. And do I want to start it? No, I don't. I'm fearing
Do
that.
top 10 movies that people haven't seen. Exactly the movies you're talking about.
No, you do that.
But I haven't seen them.
You've seen movies over the last decade, haven't you? Do your top 10 favorite horror movies of the decade.
Oh, yeah.
Or 10 horror movies that people didn't see.
I'm
But
saying
I'm just
since
saying,
you see so many, it would be a cool idea for you to
I
do.
could possibly do that,
movies
but
of the year that people
I've
haven't seen.
also got the stuff for the year to do as well. So
Right.
I don't have time to do all this other stuff too.
Right.
I'll do my top 100 movies of the decade. That's fine. I'll get to it. But anything outside
So you're
of
pot
that,
committed
it's
to
gonna be
that.
tough. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I did it a decade ago. How could I not?
I
do
know,
it
but
now?
I'm just saying, just put it in a book or something like that, man, and at least keep a manuscript of it so you
I'm
can
not
you
gonna
can
do
put
that.
it into
If I'm gonna
something
do it,
later.
I'm just going to do it. But it's probably just not going to be today when I start it.
Right.
Just one, because I'm sick, and two, because I fly out in the morning. So I got to fly to LA in the morning.
Who's putting you up this time?
Same people.
Well, yeah, but for what movie though?
Dolomite is my name.
Why is that so late?
Well, they're doing a celebration of Black cinema event.
Oh, that's right. This is that whole thing. I thought that was last weekend.
It's a cross thing with Critics' Choice.
Yeah.
And Netflix. So Eddie Murphy's going to be.
I don't want to talk about this. This is when you're going to be with Nia Long.
We talked about Nia Long and how
I know.
I get my shot and you don't.
Yeah, I thought that. No, you're supposed to FaceTime me whenever you see her,
Yes.
and then I will.
And I'm going to try to do that too. I'm not kidding. I'm going to try.
Dude,
I'll ask her. But doing this top 10 of the decade is like, it's different now because if I'm really hung up on something, I can just throw a superhero movie in there now.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that before.
Oh, well, you mean in the
previous decade? Couldn't do that before.
Not like you can now, for
No.
sure. Well, yeah, I guess because even those movies don't qualify as good. They might be fun superhero movies.
I had X-Men movies in there.
Yeah, we were talking about Fantastic Four. You wouldn't put that on the best of
no, it
the
wasn't
2000s.
But there also weren't nearly as many.
I would like to see how many comic book movies, and I don't know how wide you'd want to bring it, if it's just superhero or just comic book based properties were done in the 2000s versus 20. I want to see like a scatter chart of that.
I think you'd see like a 200% explosion.
You think so?
Yeah. So it's going to be a different experience doing that.
Yeah.
Did you see Dark Waters? We didn't really talk about Queen and Slim though. I know we brought it up, and then we didn't really talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, we basically said that it was
because you didn't want to see it because it was black people. So
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
right. Basically, it is the shorthand of it is
just in case somebody gets this out of context. I'm joking. That is a joke.
I am joking. John is not racist. That's not why he didn't see it. I don't think so. But he's probably moved it down his list because it's black people.
It's just not true at all. It's just not
he'll
true.
get around to it at some point, but he won't consider it for any awards or anything though either, because it's black people.
Now,
So
that's ridiculous. Who is it to play? Who plays Slim?
Kaluuya.
Oh, that's right.
Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out and Black Panther.
Black Mirror is where I knew him.
I don't
from
watch
first.
Black Mirror, so
You never watched Black
I've
Mirror?
never watched a single episode.
Oh wow.
And Jodie Turner-Smith, who's a newcomer. She had a small role in The Neon Demon, which nobody remembers, and I struggle to remember it too.
Nicholas Winding Refn.
Yeah, and it's basically trying to reframe the outlaw narrative, which has been universally white in this country.
Right.
You know, it's always white people who choose to become
Yeah, I never even
outlaws.
Yeah.
Like the Bonnie and Clyde narrative, you know, they choose to become outlaws.
Has there ever been a black outlaw hero? Like, I guess, like a real one, because like Django doesn't count. But like you have like Pretty Boy Floyd, and they're like, oh yeah, he murdered people.
I guess you could call someone like a Nat Turner, maybe like one of those.
Yeah,
a black outlaw,
but not on the same level of.
And I'm
like,
sure there are others that I probably can't think of, probably can't place. But
I guess that plays right into like institutionalized racism of black people do something wrong. It's wrong. White people do it. It's okay. But
the cinematic outlaw narrative,
has
pretty much always been white. But for black people, you know, being an outlaw is something that is usually foisted upon us. It's not as our choice.
Right.
Which is kind of what happens in this movie. You have these two people who go on this first date, Tinder date. It's pretty bland. They ride home and they get pulled over by a cop who gets aggressive with them, and it ends up going sideways, and the cop gets killed in self-defense.
Right.
And they are forced to go on the run. And it's not something that they wanted to have happen, but they become outlaws. And it's a movie that I try to describe it to people, and I'm like, I think it's a movie that has a lot it wants to say, perhaps too much. And it's going to go down as a very culturally relevant movie to a lot of people.
Right.
And I describe it as like a Set It Off or a Dead Presidents, which are movies that to people I know, people in my family,
the seminal mid-90s movies.
Exactly. Yeah. And to black people in particular, because they present narratives through a black perspective that we don't normally see, especially Set It Off, which is 4 black women in a heist movie.
Well, and Dead Presidents really brought the black soldier from Vietnam's experience into the cultural.
Exactly. These are things
time.
that we do not see in the cinemas very often.
Right.
And this movie's kind of like that. I would not say Set It Off and Dead Presidents are particularly good movies. They are okay movies.
Right.
You know, and this is an okay movie. But it's not. But it's going to have a greater cultural significance than it is like a artistic significance.
Right.
You know, because I do think it has so much that it's trying to say that it tries to say too much, and it gets muddled and it gets jumbled.
Is it just not focus on it?
It's kind of incoherent. There are a couple things that happen in it where you're like, I don't know if that's necessarily what they were wanted to say.
Right.
But they ended up saying it, and it's probably not helpful.
Right.
Things like that. The performances are fantastic, though. I really like Daniel Kaluuya. His character is very different from hers. She's a little bit more militant than he is. He is kind of an easygoing cat, which I think is perfect for him.
Why is that always a thing? I'm trying to think of the movie examples that, because there's 4 or 5 of them I can think of, and whenever there's an African American guy and a girl, it always seems like the main story guy is more laid back, and then the girl is militant and gets him, you know. But the angle of this that I know this is not.
Black women are angry.
Yeah, I am. I guess. No, I'm not. What I'm saying is the angle of this that I know is not part of the cultural relevance, but is really interesting to me that I didn't know is that this starts out on a Tinder date. So these are 2 people that do not have a history together. These are 2 people just thrown into this situation.
Yep.
So because when you said Bonnie and Clyde, I'm thinking, okay, well they're in love, they went on a date, whatever. But no, this is.
No, this isn't true romance or something like that. Where these people.
So does that play into it at all?
It plays into it in the fact that they don't have like you feel like they don't have any real loyalty to one another,
right?
Except that they are forced together through this common experience. It's something that has to be forged throughout the movie,
right?
Which is different than Bonnie and Clyde as well,
right? Okay,
so it's different from that. It's different in that regard. It's a movie that I'm thinking people should go and see because I feel like it. Like I said, I think it's going to have cultural significance. Is it something you need to run out and see right now? No, you can probably wait.
Right.
But it's something that should be seen. It's also one of those movies that I talked about this when I got back from Sundance. Maybe I mentioned it to you. how I'd seen this movie Native Son and how it's based on his, a Richard Price's book, and it's a movie about a black guy who is has a hatred for the world because of racism and all that kind of stuff, and how every black person who came out of that movie hated it.
Oh yeah, because they're saying
every
stuff
white
that,
and every white person seemed to love it.
Right.
Queen of Slim has had the same dynamic happen to it. Like every white person I've talked to who's seen it has loved it, and a lot of the black people I've talked to afterwards have been like, yeah, I don't know, not really. And it's one of those things where it's one of those movies where I think where a lot of people are going to go in and see it and feel like they've seen something important,
right, but not really know why.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things.
I'm like when I was staring off in the distance, I was
feel like you've learned something.
Yeah.
Well,
see, and this is a perfect example. As a white suburban guy, I don't have a lot of insight on this stuff, but there's things that we think would be culturally important that may or may not be. Like when you said, when we were talking about it being a Tinder date and them not having anything and being thrown in this together, my mind immediately goes to, well, maybe that's saying something about the larger African American experience where, you guys have a connection, even if you don't know somebody, because you're we've been through the same stuff. But that might be something that, white people are just kind of thinking is there and not really there or something like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, they have this connection because they both understand why they need to flee.
Right.
They both understand why they can't just go and turn themselves into the cops and say, "Hey, this was an accident."
Right. Yeah.
It's probably not going to work.
Not going to end well. Yeah.
Right. It's not going to end well. And of course, this isn't going to end well for them no matter what. And there's this sort of, I think there's this understanding between them, knowing that no matter where they go, no matter what they do, the story's not going to end well for either one of them.
Right.
And I think that's one of those things that kind of bonds them together.
Okay.
Is this sort of understanding. They can talk about the future all they want, and a lot of the movie is about them talking about the future.
Yeah.
Those are some of the movie's best moments, actually, is them doing stuff like that. But there is this sort of understanding that this is probably going to be a doomed road trip that they're on right now.
This is a tragedy waiting to happen.
Yeah. It's just a matter of when. So it's very powerful in that regard. One other movie I want to ask you about, which I'm pretty sure you didn't see. I got one I want to ask you about too, but go ahead. Did you see Dark Waters yet?
I feel like I should say yes, but that would be a lie.
Okay, so you didn't see Dark Waters, which means you have to add that to your list of movies to see as well, because you have that on your.
Yep,
you have a screener of that, I'm sure, because I've got 5 of them.
And Richard Jewell is the other one. Have you watched Richard Jewell yet?
Not yet. I'm going to. I'm going to try to watch it tonight, actually.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that just became available on our little app thing. So.
Right. And Dark Waters, you should probably watch it mainly because of Mark Ruffalo. A lot of people think he's going to get nominated.
Yeah.
Since you haven't seen it, I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to spoil it for you and
it's like a political
color your thinking
type deal, right?
It's environmental.
Okay. Well, I mean,
he's a lawyer who's taking on DuPont. This is a true story, based on a true story. Who's taking on DuPont, who have basically been poisoning water in West Virginia.
Yeah, easily one of the evil companies of the world at any point.
Yeah. The thing is, he's a corporate defense attorney, so normally he's protecting companies like DuPont.
Right.
But when this farmer comes to him and shows him what's happening, he decides he has to try and do the right thing.
It's beautiful that that's a true story that actually happens. It always seems like something that's made for movies, but those people don't really exist. So whenever you see that they are.
Anne Hathaway's in it as well.
Speaking of true stories, I'll let you go ahead and finish.
No. I'm not gonna review it because you haven't seen it. I don't want to color your opinion of it, since you're probably about to watch it.
Where does the laundromat go on the list of need to watch?
At the very bottom.
Really?
I think the laundromat's not very good.
Because it kills me. I mean,
I hated to say that because I interviewed the writers and Scott Z. Burns, who I love. I interviewed him for it.
Well, beside all that, that upsets me because that is one of those things where we have a huge smoking gun about the corruption of the rich in the world, basically, that just kind of went away.
You might see Panama it differently than I did. You might see it differently than I did. I just thought it was the wrong approach. They didn't do a straight up narrative on it. They did a sort of like a jokey sort of comical take on it. Almost like the Big Short, but not quite. It's a little bit more silly than The Big Short.
This is a
And I
really
think that's
serious thing, though. That should have been taken seriously.
There's a way to do it. I think The Big Short was serious too, and I think it managed to do it and walk a pretty fine balance.
Yeah. You got the seriousness of the situation from The Big Short, but
yeah, I didn't like the way they did it for this one. I feel like that's what they were trying to do. You know?
I mean, we're talking about literally proof found that people are hiding money and stealing, and the most powerful people in the world are corrupt. And then the reporter that blew the whistle on it is mysteriously found dead. I mean, this is stuff that's made for movies that should have a good movie done. Oh, that's upsetting.
Yeah, but you might see it differently than I do.
Not if it's jokey.
It's told like in this like almost anthology style, but not quite.
Oh, okay.
You know, with Gary Oldman and Antonio Banderas as the two, as Cusack and I can't remember who the other lawyer is.
Right.
The two lawyers who were like the law firm that was behind all this crap. I think it's Fonseca and Cusack, maybe.
Sounds evil enough.
Yeah, they're playing them. And they're kind of guiding you through it, and they're kind of joking about it the entire time.
Right.
It's just like, you know, didn't really work for me. So
yeah,
I would have rather they have done. I'd rather they had done it The Report style.
Yeah.
Did you watched The Report?
Yeah, I did. And Adam Driver.
I was gonna say, don't maybe have to add another one to your list.
I didn't. I did see The Report. I mean,
Right.
Adam Driver. You know, folks. I'm not just shallow when it comes to female actors or female actors, but Adam Driver is one. Adam Driver and Benedict Cumberbatch were both people that I did not like until when they first came out and I hadn't seen them.
What you're saying is you have a man crush on Adam Driver.
No. I was just saying I was unfairly prejudiced against him because he was so weird looking when I first saw him. Like Girls was not Lena Dunham is not a person that I particularly gravitate towards. And you know, being on Girls and looking so funny.
Like
What's that?
Whereas I kind of like Lena.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's probably one of the places that you are on opposite sides of things. But she just seems annoying. We'll get into that. But Adam Driver is an odd-looking fellow, and then I see him in, you know, he's Kylo Ren, obviously, and then you see him in.
What a year he's had, man.
That's what I'm getting to. I mean, just amazing. And he's
incredible.
He's a guy that's real, and that's why I'm so excited about watching Marriage Story. That's why it's on top of my list, because he's this guy that is just so different. And he manages, like, was it Dead Don't Die, the Jarmusch movie that came out?
Yeah, I forgot he had that this year too.
Yeah, the movie
sucked,
but
The Report, it was fun at least. His part was fun.
I wouldn't go to sucked, but it definitely wasn't as good as I expected it to be.
I don't like it.
And then he was in Star Wars, which, you know, we should really have like a crazy fan theory segment before Rise of Skywalker comes out, but you know, we're getting close to our hour, so I guess we got to talk about Mandalorian episode 4, which brought the lovely Gina Carano Cara Dune into the story.
Yeah,
and I have always had a huge crush on Gina Carano. She scares me a little bit more now because she looks more scary, I guess. I don't know. She doesn't look as feminine, but it's still
I don't know
oddly.
what you're talking about, man. She looks just as hot to me as she ever did.
I could do a side by side, and you'd agree with me, but it doesn't matter.
I think she's fine no matter what. So, I mean, I don't.
Let me ask you, one of my only disappointments with The Mandalorian so far is that when it was announced, we had all this huge cast of characters. It sounded like it was going to be so much fun, and I thought he was going to be. Now, we made the comparisons to Lone Wolf and Cub. I thought it was going to be more like a Deadly Dozen, or no, that's not right. You know. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Dirty Dozen?
Dirty Dozen. I told you I am tired, and it's been a long week, and it's raining outside. I thought it was going to be more like that, like him putting a team together, and then you have IG-11 that shows up in the first one, and then he's dead in the first episode. And then you have, you know, Apollo Creed shows up.
And it's very – I think – and I wrote about this in my last recap.
Mm-hmm.
It is more episodic than we probably knew.
Yeah, 100%.
It's in this episode 4 in particular is like the perfect example of that, which is the plot is taken like totally from Seven Samurai. Like it is the Seven Samurai plot.
Yeah,
it is exactly what it is. Magnificent Seven Samurai plot is exactly that. Defending a poor village from invaders,
right?
Basically, with Cara Dune, Gina Carano's character, helping him,
right?
Recruited to help him do it. It is not the big sprawling space opera that I think we all naturally assume Star Wars to always be,
and possibly wrongly, because they did make all these comparisons before the show came out that say, hey, this is a Western, they
told us what it was going to be, but because we're so conditioned to expect something from Star Wars, we're like all like, well, this isn't what we thought.
Yeah.
because it's it's exactly what they told us it was going to be.
Right.
You know, and I fell for it too. Like I was expecting it too. And I think if you read my recaps, you can tell. Like I'm expecting it to do one thing. Like okay, well now it's going to go and jump out into the big broad universe as a whole.
Right.
And no, it's not. It's probably going to be
yeah.
like a whole bunch of little stories. The next one will find them in another predicament that they will need to get out of, and they'll keep going that way until it comes to a head. Maybe in the last episode, where they face off against somebody.
Do you think all these threads come together, or are we just watching him go?
I
down
don't feel like
journey?
I don't feel like they do. I feel like they maybe just keeps going until it reaches an end point, and I don't know what that's going to be.
Yeah. Well, now that I see it happening, I'm okay with
there's
that.
a whole other season that we already know is already being made.
Right.
So we don't. I mean, there's no reason for this story to have to end anytime soon.
Right.
You know, this could just be episode by episode by episode by
And we could see Cara Dune come back, and we could see these people come back around.
And look, IG-11 could come back.
Yeah,
as well.
he's a robot. He
freaking
can be rebuilt.
droid.
Yeah.
Or there'll be just another IG. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
All you need is Taika Waititi's voice and that IG thing.
Right,
but
it doesn't really matter. But this is not going to be a big sprawling space opera. It is an episodic space western, and now that I've kind of accepted that, I'm happy with that. That said, this was probably my least favorite episode of the 4. And it's not even bad.
Right.
It's not even a bad episode. It's just that I felt like it got a little too slow while he was in that village, in that Krill village. The townsfolk were a little too bland for me.
Yeah.
And that's really all my only real beef about it. I actually like that it took the plot from The Seven Samurai, because that's one of my favorite films of all time.
Right.
That would have been in my top 5 if I had kept going.
Well, I didn't let you get there.
No, you didn't. But I love that story. I always have.
Right.
And it works perfectly for this. So I'm happy with that. It's just that one little thing. Like I didn't necessarily like all the townspeople in that little part of the segment. And I also felt like, because they have the ATST chicken walker in there, it really stretched their budget, where they put a lot of that into that part of it,
right?
And it's not as great other parts of it.
So all you could have on the other parts is them hanging around in tents.
A lot of really close-up fights, little things like that to kind of, keep you from being able to see everything else,
right?
Because they had to push the budget to the limit for this one. You could tell,
but
that's it.
The tension that thing brought. I mean,
oh yeah, it was great.
There were a couple things about this episode that I really dug, and it's like even though it took a very small story and made you realize how large this universe is somehow, because you have this small krill fishing village that, and if you've seen the trailers or you've seen the episode, that the ATST has these bright red, quote unquote, eyes, and these dog people, Canolians, whatever they were, Canolians were, they made it look like a beast, and you could see that in a galaxy far, far away, where you have Coruscant and Tatooine and all these places and spaceships and Jedi, you could have a backwater planet that didn't know anything.
It really made me think like the Ewok defeating any of those things was a bunch of bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Like, get the hell out of here, man. Y'all beat these things with sticks and trees.
But there was kind of a harken back to it where they were like, well, we need to set traps, which is what the Ewoks did. But we can all agree that originally in Return of the Jedi, the Ewoks were supposed to be Wookiees. I should have seen a lot more Ewoks, and it makes a lot more sense. Oh, yeah.
I just saw a lot more roasted Ewoks.
But could our hearts have taken that?
I could have.
That one scene where the
fine with it.
Little Ewok rolls over and he's going to wake him up.
It would have made that movie a lot better if more Ewoks got killed.
Yeah, they had like a scene like from Last Jedi when he's roasting the porgs with his Ewoks instead.
Yeah. Yes.
I think a shaved Ewok prepared for cooking would be very disturbing to see.
Yes, I think it would be pretty fantastic, actually. If I ever get my hands on a Star Wars movie, it's gonna be the opening scene.
Yeah,
it's like Ewoks roasting on a spit.
Just a dissolve from up in the space coming right down to the planet. Oh yeah.
Later there'll be Ewoks in carbonite. There'll be Ewoks just dead everywhere.
Well, you should definitely play Battlefront 2 then in their Ewok hunt. They have an Ewok hunt game mode in that. If you haven't played it, and it's apparently a lot of fun where you just hunt Ewoks.
Oh,
and
shit!
I think a lot of people like that. Yeah.
I want that.
But the episode was
time
great.
to get it. Just like Black Friday. That game's old though, right?
But they've done an amazing thing where it's 2 years old, but they're continually adding a lot more stuff to it. And it's the only game I've seen that came out and was maybe a 2.5 out of 5, and has built its way up to a 4 out of 5.
I still haven't bought the last Star Wars game. The most recent one.
Oh, Fallen Order? Yeah.
I got it yet.
I caved and got it. And I
caved today and bought WWE 2K20 because it was 50%
I thought you said you weren't going to buy any more of those.
It was 50% off.
But I thought you said you weren't going to buy any more of those.
But it was 50% off. I mean, that's the only reason why I did it. It's because it was 50% off.
Right. Well,
otherwise I wouldn't have got it. And people still said, no, don't get it.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was too late. I already bought it.
Yeah.
But, it's 50% off.
And that, folks, is capitalism in progress.
If it sucks, that's only paid half.
Yeah. Did you buy it digitally or?
I bought it digital,
so you can't turn it in. So,
I can't trade it in. No.
Well, at least it was 50% off. But Fallen Order, to do our quick video game review. The first, I'm on Kashyyyk now, which is the 4th planet you get to.
Yeah.
And the first 3 planets were a lot of. It's a lot of fun, but and thankfully somebody reminded me that it doesn't get good till you get to Kashyyyk.
However, it looks a lot of fun. However, Twitch streamers that I've been watching play it never seem to play it very long.
No.
Like they quit after a few days. Like
it's repetitive.
It's like they get tired of it.
Yeah, it's a repetitive. Like the first 3 planets, you literally fight 2 stormtroopers and basically space crabs the whole time, and maybe space frogs. And then you get to Kashyyyk, and there's more, but there's not a huge variation of bad guys. For all the talk they did about the amazing lightsaber combat, there's really not much more to it than anything else, than like Batman Arkham or anything like that.
Do you get to lightsaber to death any Baby Yodas?
Absolutely not. Because the merchandising plan for Disney has thrown Mickey Mouse out, and they're going full Baby Yoda.
I rewatched episode 4 this morning, and my roommate, who is apparently in love with Baby Yoda,
as is everybody else,
freaked out at the end.
The crosshairs,
when the crosshairs were on the Baby Yoda.
I think my wife wouldn't hold her breath as much if it was my face in those crosshairs.
Oh yeah, if it was my head in there, I'd be like,
oh. I'd be like, oh, I hope he doesn't get hit. But like literally, that scene was more tense than anything else for most of the people in America watching that show.
And I was just like, oh, come on, you don't actually think it's gonna happen,
right?
Come on.
All right, you ready to break out of here?
Yeah, man. It's time to get out of here, man. I got
get back and get some rest and get on with the week. We'll be back next week.
I go pack, man.
Are we doing a show next week? Because we got the don't you and Tim usually do a WAFCA Awards announcement show on Sundays?
Oh Jesus Christ! Is that coming up?
That's
already?
This weekend, man. That's why I'm telling you I'm taking days off. Now my list is even lower and my confidence is even lower than that. So
I don't know. Depending on when do we do our awards for WAFCA? When are they out?
We usually have to have them in by noon on Sunday.
And when is the announcement?
Monday morning. Yeah, that's right. I don't know what I'm talking about. Apparently, you wouldn't.
I would say if we did an announcement before this, then we could come on air and talk about the WAFCA awards. But if it's going to be Monday morning, then
do we have a screening on Monday? I know I do. So we couldn't come here afterwards and talk about it.
In other words, we will probably be here next Sunday because he's not giving me a good reason why we're not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks like we're going to be here. So anyway, I am Travis of PunchDrunkCritics.com. That is John Nolan.
White John Nolan in this light.
And, you're super white in this movie. All right, we're out here, guys. Later.
All right, see ya.